Hello and welcome to Frame Chasers. 2022 is shaping up to be a good year for hardware. So we're going to be ramping up the customer builds here as we go along into 2022. Parts are becoming more available to acquire, I want to say. So I had no problem getting a 3080 Ti in my local area here. So I feel like we're kind of at the end of the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. So the story with this build was the customer pretty much came to me. He was like, "Hey, Jufus, can you price me out a build within this budget?" Yada, yada, yada. And he wasn't exactly asking me to build it for him, but I'm like, "Hey, man, I can build you something better for less money, and you'll get way more performance out of it." He's like, "Hell yeah." Now, this is a max FPS build, but we are not going ham with water cooling this time. This is going to be more of a build that anybody can put together at home, for the most part. You'll see what I mean. So the goal for this build is as powerful as possible, but also compact and clean. Very, very, very clean. We're going to be building it in an O11 Mini. I have nothing but great things to say about this case. I think it's my favorite case because you can stuff so much power in there, and it has like the perfect footprint in my opinion for like a desk case, right? I'm getting kind of sick of these mega towers going around lately, and I'm kind of over it. I think the customer felt that way too because as soon as he saw the O11 Mini and the actual dimensions of it, right away he was like, "Yeah, I want that case." So with that in mind, let us go over the parts today of what we're going to be using. And I'll put all the links to all these in the description below if you want to build yourself one of these things. And as with all my builds for my customers, they get custom tuned by me. And we're going to do a few little extra gems for you along the way. Let's go. Now, right out of the gate, let's just talk about the GPU. There are so many reasons why I picked the 3080 Ti for the Win 3, the EVGA one. I'm just going to list them out for you. Number one, I'm not an AIB. I don't have RMA processes, right, when you buy a build from me. So I need the customer to be covered under warranty. EVGA does have the best warranty. It's just the way it is. Even though this card might not be as aesthetically pleasing as some of the other brands, I know that when I sell this to my customer, they are taken care of by EVGA. My customers are always going to get EVGA cards because I can't trust any other company to honor their RMAs right now. Reason number two, the customer was waiting for a 3090 Ti. That got delayed indefinitely. This has a 90-day step-up program on it. So he's already registered the card under his name. I sent him the receipts. Now he has 90 days to step this up if the 3090 Ti comes out before that 90-day period is up. Also, sneak peek, I've already checked this card out, and it is a god bin. So this one will actually perform better than most 3090s as is. Now, the processor, given fastest gaming processor you can buy, this doesn't need an explanation. Actually, this is the only CPU that you should be buying in 2022. Let me link you to our friend Tech Deals here in his tweet. Motherboard, Z690 Edge Wi-Fi DDR4. MSI makes the best motherboards. They have the best DDR4 compatibility. And DDR4 is still the GOAT per dollar by far. DDR5 is not faster at all. So why would you go and spend twice as much for a motherboard and twice as much for memory when you can get the exact same performance out of this thing? Now for memory, this is my favorite kit. This is the 4000 1636 kit, 1.4 volts. It overclocks like a god, and it's actually relatively cheap for what you get. 2x16 dual rank. Okay, first thing that we're going to be doing with this build is we're going to delid the CPU. I actually just finished it with my handy dandy delid kit here. Now, let me explain. I always give my customers a heads up. I'm like, hey, do you want me to delid the CPU? Yes or no? I told him that the temperature differences, delidded versus not delidded, was about 10 Celsius from that one video that I did on my other CPU. And essentially, if he wanted to do this, he would get probably 100 megahertz more, but obviously void the warranty on the chip, right? And most of the time, or I should say 90% of the time, they always go for the delid. Now, this is also not something you can get anywhere else. No PC builder in their right mind is going to do this for people because just the sheer amount of failures that would come back on them. But, you know, you get a Frame Chasers build, you know you're not getting no warranty. But also, no one's going to come even close to your FPS. And there we go, flawless delid here. I think this is the only mod we're going to be doing, like physical mod we're going to be doing on this build today. I got to see when we get there. But this time, I actually am going to seal it back up for the customer. Not permanently, I'll use some RTV, that's easy to peel. But yeah, when it comes to customer builds, if they ever do want to change their paste around or take the CPU out, I don't want it to move around, right? So, going to be using the actual bracket and putting it back on. Okay, fast forward a little bit. I got some of the boring stuff out of the way here. I got the bottom fans in, I got the side ones, and the other side one here. Now the top here is going to have the AIO blowing down. So pretty much AIO up here having an intake up top. Then these fans on the bottom are going to intake up towards the GPU. And then this is an exhaust, and these two are an exhaust. So it's going to be like this, and then out sideways. And that's how I have found that is actually the best to run these O11D cases. Okay, so next I'm going to go put the AIO up top here, see if that clears the VRM heatsink and stuff. And then I'm going to get the power supply, install that in the back. And then I will be back and we'll see what this kind of looks like. Okay, so I got the 360mm AIO in here, but a little bit of a tricky mess here, right? So if you see here, I can't actually push the AIO down any further without it hitting the VRM heatsink there, right? So I actually had to push the AIO forward. So I had to drill some custom holes here, and then I just put big washers on the ends here to make it solid, right? So instead of actually using the holes, like it's kind of too difficult to fit a 360 in here. So because the VRM heatsink on this motherboard is so fat, I couldn't actually put the AIO into its proper spacing, but this is okay as long as these are clear for the top panel to slide in. This should work just fine. Look at how beautiful that looks though with the 360 on top and an 011 Mini. Just fantastic fitment. Okay, looks like we're good to go here. This is what I was saying with this being my favorite case here, the 011 Mini. Man, just look at how much crap you can cram in there, right? So, you know, graphics card goes here, and you still have one more slot. This one's pretty unusable for an ATX motherboard here, but this one can still add an expansion card and have whatever 2 or 3 M.2s in there, right? And it's just small footprint. You don't need these mega ass towers, you know what I'm saying? Pro tip, you can actually use the 24-pin cable comb from the motherboard cable with 3 PCI Express ones, 8, 16, 24, right? Just to keep them all together all the way, right? But yeah, everything looks good. So let's put the panels back on, do a little bit of overclocking, and see what kind of FPS she can push out. Let's cue the B-roll!
Blind, I was blinded, and I don't see once again. Let the beat rock.
Gas is closing on your position. Suggest you get moving.
Well, guys, a lot of people have been asking me, Jufus, how do we get a hold of you for one of these amazing builds? Well, there is a new webpage. I'll link it down below. It is a PC build request page. Just follow the instructions there, and I will get back to you guys. But other than that, if you guys like the content, hit that subscribe button, do all that YouTube SEO stuff, like, share, subscribe, comment down below if you have a 6900 XT and you're salty about it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you later. So a lot of people have been asking me, Jufus, how do we get a hold of you for a PC build? Well, there is a new... My kitty, my baby. Who's my baby? Say hi, my baby. Look who came to say hi. This is a blooper reel. My kitty. Look at my little baby. She's feeling so much better. My baby. Okay, my kitty. My good baby.